caverna al monte santo stava il santo in gran pianto, il qual pianto gli muta in canto il serafin consolato.
The stones talk here. It's because Francis has left an imprint in this place. I had to write a little guidebook, for example, at one stage, and there's so many books written about Francis, it's hard to find a title. The editor of the book suggested, well, perhaps you'd say Francis lived here. I said, that's good, but it's not quite right. Francis lives here.
That a pope gets to choose a name first is the interesting part, because names are given to us, from our parents or whatever. When you're in a religious community, you take a religious name, you don't choose it, it's given to you. So he wants to evoke something in us. He wants us to think about, what does Francis mean? Francis's example is what we're looking at, of someone who was a radical Christian. We don't want to highlight so much Francis as we want to highlight what Francis did. I think that's what you will see in Pope Francis's life. He's calling us to look at Francis because Francis has inspired him. The simplicity that he has is its clarity, its ability to be understood in his actions. So I think really the actions, the simple actions, the simplicity that he chooses in his vestments, in what he does and how he does it, allows us a clarity, a transparency.
When he speaks of Francis of Assisi, he also implies the person of Clare of Assisi. And Clare was the feminine dimension of Francis. Clare and Francis, even with 11, 12 year span in their lives of difference in years, Clare became aware of Francis as she was growing in Assisi and his strong attraction to the Lord, his strong attraction to conversion, his strong attraction to reconciling differences. And Clare, as a result of her family's background and living in the nobility part of Assisi, shared the same love for reconciling differences, shared the same desire to bring all things together, the poorest of the poor and the noblest of the nobility.
The story of St. Francis is very beautiful, because Francis was very ambitious. He wanted to be the first, at the top in everything. But Jesus told him to follow another way, the way of humility. And this is very beautiful. And he began going to war. He was in jail for 1 year. And all these stories inside his stories, his life, were signs of the presence of God that was asking him to be humble. And Francis discovered that humility is the way to meet Jesus. And it is very beautiful when I listened to the name of the new Pope, Francis. Wow, I was close to cry. It was very, very beautiful. And I thought, it is a very humble man. And but the first step of this humility was the gesture of Pope Benedict leaving the place. And after this gesture of humility, a humble man, Pope Francis.
I think it is a dilemma for everyone to live the life of simplicity and poverty according to their situation. And I think so far Pope Francis has shown us in the way he dresses, the way he wants to live, and the message that he brings across in his simplicity. Because with all the world looking at him, I think he still has in mind that the glory of the world passes, just as they used to say to popes when they were being crowned, as it were. So that passes, but there's one thing that doesn't pass, the words of Jesus Christ. And that's what he intends to listen to.